Here we go. Seoul pushing ahead now. They've got Jaehong there, keeping everybody healed. Seagull gets both supports. Dallas just trying to stay alive. It looks like they have done it. Man, that guy with the sign that said Fleta is the meta was not lying. Can Seoul capitalize on this? Can they hold?
Oh my, that is Stowe!
Never surrender. And we're back, coming at you live from Los Angeles. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Chris Puckett. This is the Overwatch League, and we are in Stage 2 of the regular season. Joining me today on the desk, we got the full crew. It's the Breadcrumbs alongside Zoe once again. Brent, we had a great time at Improv last night. You were almost decent at it.
Thank you very much. I mean, you were okay. You were average. Probably a bit less than that, actually. I don't want to give you too much credit.
It's honest, though. And that's what we
No,
love
we're
about you,
good.
Brent. Today, we're going to see some great games, and if you're an LA fan, you're going to be super happy because both LA squads will be competing. But first, let's look at the overall standings. Remember, we have 4 stages. It's all about who finishes at the top of this list, the big top 6 at the end of it all. Bren, Philadelphia Fusion back in the top 6, and today you see them at the top of our Stage 2 standings, a perfect 8-0, the only squad to do so far.
Yeah, this squad is looking tasty in the come-up for Stage 2, to be honest. This is the one team that I'm very much looking forward to. They're looking like a contender for one of those top spots and to potentially knock one of these other teams out of the runnings, I guess, for the Stage 2 playoffs.
And so, as we take a look at today's matchups, which one has you fired up?
Oh, you know, honestly, it's gonna be the first and the second one. I do want to see that rematch between the Shock and the Valiant, but Dynasty against Fuel, that's gonna be a barn burner.
There are only 4 teams with a perfect 2-0 start to Stage 2, and our opening match features 2 of them. Let's give it up first for the Seoul Dynasty. Seoul carrying their national flags for Korea's Independence Movement Day. It's a national holiday in Korea that is observed every March 1st, and today, well, it's March 1st over in Korea.
You have these guys ahead of the meta, ahead of the standings, literally living ahead of the time. If that's not enough to get you to watch this team, I don't know what it is. They're so pumped up about this, and I love that they get to wear these flags while they play. Do they actually? Because it's a cape now.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's Seoul Dynasty at the end of the day. You're going to let them get away with whatever they wanted to get away with. If wearing their flags. They're collecting them away. But still, the players I'm looking forward to is that gen there on the screen right in front of us. Toby on the Lucio role once again, and I mean, he was a big talking point coming into Stage 2, Seoul Dynasty. Where does this team gonna land now that we've exited this Mercy metagame? And now that Toby's back on the Lucio, I think we're gonna see a completely revamped, I mean, we've already seen a completely revamped Seoul Dynasty. They look even better than ever.
Yeah, we might even see more changes as they did add a 12th player to the roster with the support player Gambler, who will be joining them soon. So from then onwards, they can finally run those internal scrims that they have been eyeing with.
Something to note here, Bunny on the bench. Munchkin, who we saw against the Shock, back in the lineup to open things up today. That is a look at the starting lineup for the Seoul Dynasty. But now it's time to bring out the squad representing the Lone Star State. Give it up for the Dallas Fuel. The Fuel are coming into today's match with a 4-match win streak, and their last victory, no small part.
Look at XQC slippers. He's wearing the May shoes.
He loves it. XQC is the guy I'm most excited for. I mean, I recently heard him described as the most instinctual tank in the Overwatch League right now, and that's completely correct. The man just sort of plays off of his raw instincts. You're giggling away.
Is that because he came in his first walkout as an ape?
Possibly. I mean, the guy is a bit rabid at times as well, but we won't go too hard into that. But it's not just the XQC show. What I'm interested in as well, it's these additions. AKM alongside Effect as well. Crazy DPS players. And I mean, AKM has been described at times on his Soldier 76 as like a cannon, just pounding these shots into you. No time to react, no time to really...
A rapid-fire cannon, I like that.
It really is. And Effect and AKM were the 2 players which Seoul Dynasty coaches have singled out to me when I talked to them about this matchup. They said that those 2 are the biggest threat on this very lineup, and they will require all their attention as they look pretty much unstoppable so far in stage 2.
There's so much love in this room. We got a big cheer for Fleta, but I feel like Mickey and XQC are becoming huge fan favorites, a lot due to that intro. As you look at this squad today, Crumbs, who are you keeping your eyes on?
I'm looking at AKM. I mean, his Soldier, I think we know it's sick. How good is he? How can it keep up against Seoul Dynasty, specifically Fleta? I want to see if the Seoul Dynasty can come up with a way of diving him, because when you're dealing with a Soldier of this caliber, you need to be very coordinated when you come to try to take him down from these high ground positions.
And you better jump with your back towards him, because you know AKM is looking for those spaces the entire way in. Let's talk a little bit about these two squads, though, because anyone who's just joining us in the Overwatch League, these are players with storied histories and a lot of success in the past. The last matchup, though, between the Fuel and the Dynasty, it was in the first week, stage 1, and it didn't even get 4 points scored on the scoreboard. It was 2-1 in favor of Seoul Dynasty.
But it was a wild game between these two teams. They were crazy. I mean, it was way, way back into, you're going to have to stretch all the way back your mind to try and remember this game, but it was incredibly close between them. And it ended up going to Seoul Dynasty. They took the game 2-1, but not before an absolute slobber knocker of a game. This Anubis went to 6-5 in total for the score. And again, they had a draw as well onto the last map, which was, I believe, Nambani. So these two teams were very closely matched when they last played.
I mean, I think this match of week 1, we have to take with a ginormous grain of salt for this. I mean, you have Taimu playing DPS, but the team has changed where Taimu's playing full tank now. I think that this squad has changed so drastically that looking back, and even any historical data about this matchup is almost out the window. I think that this is just one new team taking on what we know about the Seoul Dynasty before.
When we look at the maps, though, we mentioned it's stage 2, it's new maps, it's not Anubis again. We're not going to see an 11-point game. Let's talk a little bit about what we could see on today's maps as we load up Volskaya, or excuse me, it's going to be Hanamura, Nepal, Hollywood, Route 66. Who do you guys think has the edge here?
I mean, you start here, Crumbs. I mean, in general, for me, what I would say is Route 66 in general is one of those maps where you can run a lot of Sombra. I honestly couldn't really see.
Are you going to tell me to start here and then take the
I'm going to take the point anyway, Crumbs. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to help you out because you look like you were sort of gasping for air for a moment. But what was the point you were trying to make? What was the point you were trying to make?
No, I mean, these maps, I think the Seoul have the advantage when they can get away with playing that Sombra. We saw Route 66 being able to use those health packs with the Sombra be really effective, but then you got Reinhardt, so I think that these two teams are playing different styles. That Seoul can have the advantage because if you hack a Reinhardt, he's just a sitting duck.
You think the better Sombra's on Seoul right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, Fleta's playing it as a DPS, so it's already a different flavor that you don't expect from any other teams.
All right, we'll see if we see some Sombras today. I'm hurt. I just heard our teams are almost ready, so let's start with you, Zoe. I want to start with predictions here. Who takes today's rematch?
Honestly, upon talking to the Seoul Dynasty and seeing how confident they are, I'm going to give them the edge. They said they will, because of the meta right now, have the edge throughout the whole of stage 2. And they said it with so much confidence that I just genuinely believe. We saw them being really strong on those dive compositions. They're not shying away from using tank-heavy compositions either, if needed. And they do have a really strong Sombra player. And on these maps, with this team, I think they're going to come out as the winner here.
Going with Seoul Dynasty.
Absolutely.
Anyone agree with her? A few Seoul fans here in the venue. What about you, Brent? Who are you siding with?
So this is a really hard matchup for me personally to try and decide an actual winner, because I actually feel the ways these maps are going as well is they don't really suit the Sombra play too much, with the exception of Route 66. So Dallas kind of have an edge in that regard, but they don't have to go up against this famous style that Seoul Dynasty love to play. However, I still feel like they're going to have the edge in this matchup, but it's going to be a close one, but I am still going to be going with Seoul Dynasty.
Seoul Dynasty is the first team to go 3-0 in stage 2.
As I'm going to tell you now, I'm going with the Dallas Fuel. I think that they have the Reinhardt Soldier combination that is going to be way too much firepower for Seoul to deal with. Sure, the Sombra can work on Route 66 and even Hanamura, but I think AKM Soldier in combination with the shield that they're providing for him is just, it'll take more than one game for the Seoul Dynasty or even one match to figure out how to beat it.
I have a feeling we're going to Game 5 today. I feel it right now. Two 2-0 squads about to face off once again. Let's make some noise, Blizzard Arena, as we send it backstage to our casters. It's Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Puckett. Guys, I could not think of a better way to start week 2 here in stage 2 than a match between Dallas Fuel and Seoul Dynasty. These teams, you know, back if you go to the good old days, or just the olden days of Overwatch, we're in good days again now, but in the old days of Overwatch, when they were Lunatic High and Envious, these guys had some great matches, but more importantly, they had some amazing results too. So historically, I think this is always a fun matchup to watch. Obviously, in stage number 1, Seoul got the better of them, but we did see that crazy easy 6-5 game on Anubis. And as we look forward to Hanamura, you know, we could see this one getting a bit crazy too.
It was a relatively narrow win for Seoul as well. They did win 2-1, and the Anubis game still is one of my favorite maps that we played in the Overwatch League so far. I thought we saw some great stuff out of both of these rosters, and coming in, we've seen some major improvements from both of these teams. Obviously, the Mercy meta being gone now and Lucio returning to use has really powered up the Dynasty because of Seoul's, Toby's ability to play that hero at, I would say, the very best level out of any player in Overwatch. And then we've also seen these roster changes as well as the return of XQC doing great things for the Dallas Fuel. XQC was excellent in their first match, but Dallas, they're on a win streak right now, but it's been against teams that are sort of at the bottom of the standing. So this is a great test for them to see exactly how much the Fuel have improved.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Seoul Dynasty, this is a team that can kind of go back to playing more of their sort of lunatic high roots as being that dive team with Toby on the Lucio. We saw them play virtually only dive in their matches last week. It worked out very well for them, as you can imagine. Now you'd expect to see more of the same here as they get ready to attack on Hanamura. Dallas on the other side, man, like, you talk about carry potential. AKM has brought so much to this team, and he is one of the best, if not the best, Soldier 76 out there in a meta where 76 is going to be one of the most important heroes, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we see Effect and AKM in for the Dallas Fuel, so far it's been a strong indication that they are going to run Soldier Tracer nearly exclusively, except for some control maps when AKM has played Pharah. But beyond that, you pretty much know what's going to happen. This is the same look that we saw last time around from the Fuel on their defense on Hanamura, trying to play that back corner. And Seoul is coming back with the Widow Tracer once again. That was their preferred attack strategy in the one time they have played Hanamura.
Yeah, they did lose that map to San Francisco, but if you go back and watch that one, it was a bit of sloppiness on some over-aggressive defenses and just kind of general not taking San Francisco seriously. But they're going in now. Mickey Demect immediately as they push Dallas back a little bit off the point right now. That's something they can capitalize on. Already Fleta getting a really aggressive stance here on the point on that Widowmaker, and they may have just taken point A already. Dallas maybe has a chance to contest, but man, that was fast.
I mean, Effect's coming around the flank right now, but he's being pushed off by the supports. Meanwhile, Fleta covering some of these long angles.
Oh, Fleta starting to go a bit crazy on that Widowmaker. Dallas shorthanded as they come in to try to defend. Mickey Demect again almost immediately, and there will be no stopping Seoul. Point A is theirs, and man, over 7 minutes on the clock.
I mean, they gave Seoul too much room right there. When they have the Widowmaker, you have to expect that from Seoul. That's the look they've already presented to you on previous Hanamuras. That's a huge stick from Munchkin.
No kidding. AKM down as well. Fleta finds yet another big pick. Self-destruct pushes Dallas off the point for the moment. That's one tick already for Seoul Dynasty. Talk about momentum, man. These guys have it. And now the block, they're just going to take it. 6 minutes and 37 seconds left on the clock. It does not get faster than that.
But this is the stuff that makes good Assault games, Doa. This is what made the last Assault match between these two teams so exciting. Fast takes, plenty of time bank, lots of attacking rounds. We'll see if Dallas Fuel can match that. 1:23 to take both points here on Hanamura. Lightning fast for the Dynasty.
Yeah. That was an incredible attack run, but it all kind of fell apart right at the beginning, right? Where Dallas kind of pulled back into the doorway, let Seoul get onto the point and just kind of become the defenders themselves. And at that point, it's really hard to stop the attackers.
Well, you just can't give up that much space when you're playing Soldier into Widowmaker. Yeah. You have to be more decisive because the Widow will always have that long-range advantage over the Soldier. So you need to play more decisively right up at the front and not give them all of the room they need. There was no pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, AKM is legit one of the best soldiers out there, but you kind of run into that sort of mismatch if you are long range against the Widowmaker. There's only so much you can do, you know?
I mean, his aim can be perfect, but fall-off damage on the Soldier still exists, so he's not going to get as much done. We'll see if he can do something more on attack right now. Harry Hook on the Mercy to start things off.
Okay, well, we did see them run this last time as well. They have been running it on attack on some of these maps.
They did, but usually you switch to the Mercy for point B as opposed to attacking with it on point A.
So they tried it on point A last time too, so it's what they like to do. I agree. It is a little bit surprising though.
Yeah, nothing surprising about the Dynasty. They're showing us the same strategies both on attack and defense that on their first map against the Shock. Here on Hanamura, dive defense. is what we will see with the Tracer
Fleta
and the
just
Genji.
flexing to himself on a roof. You ever just go up on a roof and just start flexing?
Constantly.
You know?
That's what I do every morning. It's how I wake up, though.
Yeah, me too. I could see that, yeah. Oh, hey, look at that.
It's May.
There we go. Hey, hi, May. Not in this game quite yet. XQC getting ready to dive in here. You can see Fled is up on the roof there, flexing. Will he be able to flex on Dallas, though? We will find out. XQC puts down the bubble right away. As Seoul comes in, they had a very aggressive defense on this map against San Francisco, and it worked okay up until the point where it didn't. So you got to be a bit more careful, and that's why Zumba demeched already. Luckily, he gets the kill into AKM, but Harry Hook right there to get the res again. With that Mercy, Dallas Field just barely poking through the doorway right now, but they do have somebody on the point. And now the pressure is on. Seoul needs to try to split the team, and that's exactly what they're doing. Oh, but Miro goes down. AKM so ready, along with Mickey, to handle that. Already one tick for Dallas here, and they're in a little bit of trouble too. That was really well executed by Dallas, and another maybe overly aggressive defense for Seoul.
So the problem with that is Seoul probably didn't know that they had the Mercy coming in. So when they jumped on them, the fact that the rest of Dallas was safe behind the main choke point let Harry Hook make an efficient trade for the mech, Zunba's mech, for AKM's life, and then get the resurrection immediately. So nice tactic from the Dallas Fuel. Seoul was too aggressive on that dive. They needed to wait for Dallas to pass the choke point before attacking.
Yeah. Yeah, so now Jaehong taking pot shots with that Zenyatta ult fire down the hallway. AKM running for his life here. Oh, gets caught though by Fleta. Finishing damage there, and the self-destruct used by Mickey just to kind of create a bit of space to fall back. I don't know about that one. That's a rough one. He may want that self-destruct back again.
Yeah, Harry Hook also committing the Valkyrie to that fight after several members were already dead on the side of Dallas Fuel. So Seoul stabilizes here. Zunba be getting that self-destruct up in a bit. Same with Miro and the Primal Rage. So Seoul sitting on a big ultimate bank right now. Munchkin's still harassing. That's a nice stick. Can he finish the kill? No.
Oh, he can't quite do it, man. Low health for XQC, but he gets out just in time. That does push Dallas back, and Toby manages to somehow win the duel with effect on the side. Harry Hook there with the res again, of course, on Mercy. So Dallas's push not quite done yet. Coming in on the high ground now.
Yeah, Effect was trying to save XQC there and ended up paying with his own life. Fortunately, was far enough back to get his own resurrect.
Right on. XQC, Primal raging on the point. AKM trying to get up onto that high ground. He's got to run. Here comes the self-destruct. Gets Zunba, though, before he manages to remech. And now pushing people back out again. Miro with that Primal Rage, and AKM getting juggled. Gets the heals he needs. And that was another ult used without much progress on the point. Maybe they can keep pushing it now, and that kill on Miro might do it. That might be the advantage they need. But they're just not pulling the trigger on it yet.
I mean, Effect was a really big reason why Dallas Fuel is even in this fight still.
Oh, here we go.
That's AKM with a kill on a Jaehong. They can keep pushing this.
Yeah, sick Helix rocket from 76 there. Fleta goes down as well. Now you push. Now you've got that man advantage here. Got to deal with Munchkin on the side, though. Oh, he gets him with another close-range rocket. Here comes Tac Visor, number 2. The heals are in. Harry Hook back with the Mercy again, and they've nearly got it. They do. 4:51 left on the clock. A solid attack run for Dallas as well, and here we go, Monte Cristo.
Oh, I'm loving it. This is great assault play. The best assault maps are lots of time bank where players have a chance to set up an attack, make it through the rest of the map, and we just go back and forth. This is, I think, my favorite map or mode to watch in the Overwatch League, and it's great when we see two top teams battling it out.
Yeah, so now we look at the first time bank round and we ask ourselves, how do teams adjust? Do you really make any sort of changes? On Seoul, you would think that you could try running the same thing, but on the Dallas side, you might be a little bit more prepared for the Widowmaker this time. Like you were mentioning earlier, you don't give Fleta as much space this time around as you did before, but it will be Dallas on the attack first, I suppose. So now on the Seoul defense, are you going to be more prepared for that Mercy to come in?
I think you're definitely ready for the Mercy this time, and also you're going to be more patient with your dive, because this composition, as we saw in Seoul's first match when they were playing up against the Valiant, they were very good at punishing poor positioning when the Valiant were making their way towards a point. It was on Volskaya. This time, however, they're on Hanamura, but the principle is the same. You want to divide and conquer, so as they're trying to rush in towards the point, on the last map, what they did, or on this map earlier, they didn't give them that time to move in and instead attack them directly in the choke. And that's the mistake you make. They need to be a little bit more patient because Dallas was ready for that, backed off immediately.
I agree. Saw San Francisco do the same thing against them last week. Soul Dynasty on the defense needs to be a bit more measured in this one. Trying to just bottle up Dallas at the door right now. So far, so good. Oh, as soon as I say that, though, Jayhound down. Harryhook taken out by Miro. Soul strikes back. Effect taken out as well. Kills coming in on both sides. Toby manages to find a bloodthirsty one on Lucio, and Soul Dynasty able to kind of fall back a little bit here.
It's only
Spawn
Toby and
advantage goes
Zunba.
to Dallas, though.
It's only Toby and Zunba left alive. XQC, Mickey, and AKM now on the point itself. So they're playing this aggressive forward defense, and it just isn't working out. Dallas Fuel is catching the dive and punishing them for it.
Well, it's exactly what we said here. As we see Dallas take point A, this aggressive defense from Soul, all it's doing is kind of getting them split up, and you can see the punish coming in hard. Effect with another one on the Fleta there, and it's momentum time. Oh, did I say momentum time? I meant it's time for Harryhook and Effect to go down.
Yes,
No more.
so that momentum has been immediately crushed. However, Dallas will be returning with some tools, having that tactical visor available for their use.
Yeah.
Again, just trying to get the rest of the way there on the charge while he's waiting for some of his teammates to respawn.
Should be close. Needs to worry about the right clicks coming in from Zenyatta down that hallway, though. Yeah, there we go. Jayhook right there. You gotta be so careful, man. You eat a right click, and with no mercy around a res, that's the end of your push. So, and you don't want Harryhook to have to use that early.
Yeah, that was a bit risky just to get the tac visor, but
Yeah.
only had 10% left. However, here we go. Harryhook already down.
Man, Fleta ready to follow up on the dive from Miro. XQC on the point already. They got to deal with that, though. Now Fleta coming in from behind, getting close to that Dragon Blade. XQC out of the picture for the moment anyway.
So XQC in effect probably should have been there on the point a little bit faster. Looks like a miscommunication because the way Soul played that was to commit to the hallway and the staircase and then turn around onto the point.
Yeah.
But because they were given time to do that, because there wasn't enough control percentage built up yet on the point itself, made an easy counter and Effect.
Effect down, and there's another dual one. The DPS taking out the DPS on the other side. And this push kind of ended before it began as Fleta finishes Custa off. Oh, that's a big DMAC on the Mickey, too. That's going to really slow things down. Yep, they're going to leave him alive for a little while. Yep. Just staggering that respawn, gonna make Dallas take a lot longer to reset.
And when we talk about the Dynasty, Doa, we frequently discuss how good they are at adapting tactically, and they're already playing differently. Effect played their first attack from Dallas primarily on the point, trying to shut down the healing from Toby and Jayhong. This time around, though, they're not playing into that game, and instead they're committing fewer players onto the point to deal with him, and Munchkin's coming back a little bit faster to get those duels with Effect.
Jayhong with a very early transcendence here as Dallas comes in. May have wanted to save that a bit longer. Big fight. There's the sound barrier. Effect down. Dallas losing their tracer. And where's Harryhook? Is he in position to res? It doesn't seem like he is.
Yeah, the other big difference here, though, is we have Jayhong on the Zenyatta, not on the Ana this time. So in the previous one, Effect was able to get on top of him on the low ground. Now he's playing with the rest of the roster. It's only Munchkin defending the point. So great adjustments here.
Getting very, very low here. Gets the heals just in time. There's a DMAC on the Mickey. Got a duck for cover there. Can he get him? No. Effect comes in. Saves his Diva. Meanwhile, AK up on the high ground. If he can handle Munchkin. Oh, he gets knocked down, though. That could be a bit of a problem. He's going to pop the tac visor anyway. As Zunba is DMAC. Going to have to go for cover. Finds Munchkin with the Helix Rocket. Easy to do when you got that ultimate up, but Miro comes in. He doesn't care. He's got the HP to deal with it, and now Fleta with the finishing Dragon Blade. Maybe didn't quite need the ultimate there, but either way, Soul will hold, and Dallas down to 1:20 on the clock.
And not one tick, Doa. Also, both support ults committed. Tactical visor. Dallas Fuel just threw everything they had at Soul. So now it's going to be about some eco pushes here. They need to get their ultimate economy back online. They've got a couple pushes left to do so. It's going to be really challenging, however.
AKM, man, he was down to like 10 HP a second ago from Jayhong. Got to be very careful. Jayhong going back down the hallway. People on the point right now. XQC taken out pretty early in this fight. They've still got that transcendence from Jayhong, and oh, Effect just gets blasted from above by Munchkin. And now we're down to maybe like 1-2 pushes if a really desperate one comes in from Dallas, but they do not have anywhere near the ultimates I think they need to pull this off.
They don't. They blew their ultimate economy, and it's unlikely they're going to get another support ult unless they can push a long overtime contest on the point itself.
Well, they got to try. Here we go. It's possible Effect and Mickey can get to theirs, but it's going to be tough. Slowing down. Oh, Costa! That's some damage from the pulse bomb from Fleta coming in. Transcendence for Jaehong as Seoul tries to stop this push right here, right now, and it looks like they may do exactly that. Mickey trying to get onto the point to cause OT, but he's going to be down before OT can even begin. Can anyone from Dallas even get there? Doesn't look like it, and that will be Seoul Dynasty holding Dallas to just a single point in their time bank round. No ticks taken on point B, so that means Seoul honestly doesn't have too tough of a task ahead of them to win this map.
I love how aggressively they were playing outside of the dojo there on the last point, because they knew if they killed the supports that they weren't going to have a chance to get any more support ultimates up. That would really limit Dallas's ability to drag out a contest on the point itself in the overtime period. And that's what you need to do. They know which targets to select coming into the fight. So go ahead and commit Jaehong's Transcendence to the fight outside. But not only that, I love how they switched it up tactically. So Dallas's first attack, Jaehong standing on the low ground with the Ana, is having trouble because Effect is simultaneously pressuring the point and making sure that he can't heal anybody but himself. He was having to use his Biotic Grenade on himself in those engagements. So effectively, we saw, yes, but Effect was taking out Jaehong, Toby, and Munchkin out of the fight on the first one, and that gave Dallas Fuel, the other 5 members, plenty of room to work with. This time, Jaehong changes it up. He says, I'm staying on Zenyatta, and I'm going to play the high ground this time. We're going to play around the Discord orb, and it's only Munchkin on the point to handle Effect. So healers weren't dying or weren't distracted as much on that one, and they just played for the high ground. So I like the adjustments we see from the Dynasty. Dallas still has a chance to win this map, but it is going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, 6:30 on the clock here for Seoul as they attack. That is more time than many teams have ever seen for a time bank on this map.
That may be the fastest I've ever seen, Del, honestly.
I think it might be the fastest we ever casted, yeah. Seoul looking for those shots on Fleta. Remember, they were able to force Dallas back early. AKM takes on Munchkin, though. They were ready this time. And it's so hard to dive AKM as that Tracer. We've seen this happen many, many, many occasions in the past.
Yeah, this time Dallas is definitely ready for the Widowmaker. You'll see they're split on either side of the door, with Effect playing one side, the other 5 playing the other, and they're just staying out of those sight lines from the Widowmaker, so it's a little bit tricky here for Fleta. Effect is trying to fire at medium range, but not dealing a lot of damage. Munchkin has now made it into, he's going to try and pressure the point. He's coming around the side.
Well, this is going to cause Dallas to have to break their defensive position, man. You got to deal with this. Fleta takes on Custa. That's a rough start for Dallas. He's on the roof now. He's got a great spot as he ducks down for that health pack here.
Has the infrasight up, so he knows where everybody is.
Yep. Some shots coming in. Oh, there's a dive. Harry Hook chased out by the Diva. Zunba exposing them to the fire of Fleta. And now Seoul Dynasty continuing to kind of pressure this point. There goes Mickey. Slowly but surely, Seoul looks like they're going to take point A without too much trouble.
Second attack, that's when Munchkin forces them back onto the point. You'll notice Miro's positioning behind the rock in the Zen Garden, so he was playing defense onto the point itself, trying to make sure that they weren't able to make it cleanly onto the objective. Harry Hook swapping to the Ana, needs to keep his head out of the crosshairs of Fleta.
Yeah, Fleta was way up there trying to find those early picks. And now they come in, they've got the Transcendence. There's a shot onto XQC. Mickey down to about half health as well. Can they keep them alive? They've got that sound barrier as well, but AKM with the tactical visor. A stick onto Fleta, gets Effect to kill. Meanwhile, Zunba waiting with the rest of his team. They can still push this slow as they did take down AKM. Transcendence comes in now. It's gonna be a bit trickier to push. Still having to fall back a little bit here. They may just want to wait this one out. Ooh, sleep dart onto Zunba. Gonna wake him up pretty quickly though. Miro low, but the push still continuing. All they need is that first pick. Fleta's they can try to grind it out. Yeah, Fleta has come back. AKM on the Sombra this time. Oh, Custa goes down. Yet another
opportunity to push in right now. Munchkin still trying to deal this nano boost onto Mickey.
Yeah, that's right. Mickey in a lot of trouble. A stick onto Zimba though. He's gonna get demeched as well. Munchkin meanwhile throws in his pulse bomb. Seoul Dynasty coming up with the kills, and Dallas in a lot of trouble right now. They gotta handle SQC. He's going down. Transcendence for Jaehong again. Gets so fast, and this time it's gonna pave the way for Seoul Dynasty to take map 1.
Yeah, standing there for a long time, waiting for Fleta to respawn and then come back, get the kill onto Custa, cut off some of the healing from the fuel, and roll it into that snowball. Exciting first map on Hanamura.
Yeah, and we thought that was going to be like a high-scoring one, but Seoul coming in with the solid defense in the time bank round, and They're going to be looking a little bit stronger here as we look towards the map too, but we'll see what Dallas can do when we come back. Don't go anywhere, guys. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The next guy we got to talk about is AKM.
AKM has been lauded as one of the best DPS players in the world. This guy has put up ridiculous numbers every single time he's played.
I'm excited. Overwatch League was the ultimate goal. After I finally signed the contract, I was like, finally I made it.
For the fuel, they're bringing in AKM.
AKM can have wild impact for this team.
I went to the Dallas Fuel just because I think that's the most potential. They're all amazing individual players.
Goodbye hydration again. AKM taking out everybody. To see him kind of immediately fall into this role, this guy is such a great pickup for them.
Absolutely. AKM brings the best soldier in the game. We're finally able to play everything.
Temu and Sigurd are actually transitioning into other roles, and I think it's actually a good thing for us because we cover pretty much every hero at a high level.
AKM says just gonna destroy everybody with a little help from my friends. AKM says I don't need the ult, I don't need the nano boost.
I want to face New York. I think they're the best team in the league for now, and then fine. He has been amazing. I want to be able to face him and maybe try to beat him.
Like the video said, that man on your screen right there, AKM, easily one of the best DPS out there. He actually leads the league in stage 2 for a damage per 10 onto heroes. That is pretty good.
I mean, over 10,000 is ridiculous for damage per 10 minutes. And even in that last match, Doa, he was dealing 30% of his team's total damage on the Dallas Fuel. So he has certainly delivered what we expected of him, an elite player finally making his way into the Overwatch League, and it's a pleasure to watch him again.
True enough. And it's not just about the damage he does, too, but about the way he handles dives coming at him. That's always one of the things I've loved the most about watching AKM. We saw it a little bit on Hanamura, handling Munchkin as he came in, but that map, of course, going the way of the Seoul Dynasty. We're going to Nepal next, our control map. Best of 3, King of the Hill kind of thing. You know how it goes.
I do know how it goes, Doa.
I didn't mean you specifically. I meant the general, the royal you. I don't know, the you of the people out there.
I do appreciate you calling me the royal you. That pleases me greatly.
That's right. I would not call you that. No.
Hey, the Count of Monte Cristo. You can address me as your excellency.
That's not royalty, though, is it?
Count it? Well, it's nobility.
No, it's not, is it?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I'll still take your excellency.
Your lugubriousness.
All right, so coming in for the fuel, we did see on Nepal from them, again, a lot more Tracer Soldier when they were running the effect combination with AKM. And they did some interesting stuff, though, on Sanctum. They pulled out the Orisa and the Pharah with the Soldier. So we have seen a couple of different looks from the Dallas Fuel. And we are going to see Sanctum first here. Will be XQC on the Orisa. Mickey might be playing the Roadhog here. That was Dallas Fuel's strat, although it was with Taimu on the main tank instead of XQC when they played up against the Shanghai Dragons last week.
Yeah. True enough. So I don't think we're going to see XQC stick on that Doomfist. I would love to see that. We, in fact, have seen both of these teams play Doomfist throughout the Overwatch League. Fleta played it a little bit himself. Effect played it a little bit on the Dallas side. So you never know. Mickey on that Symmetra for the moment. Yeah, I don't think so. It's like I said in Watchpoint Preview, man. Let Symmetra self-destruct. Then you're gonna see some more Symmetra play. Let her get in there. She blows up, comes right back with the TV.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful synergy.
That's right.
Well, Seoul is going to be playing Soldier and Tracer. They did this on both of the Nepal points we've seen so far and played it on Sanctum. So Dallas Fuel now will be coming in with the same strategy, except they will be having effect on the Tracer instead of the Soldier this time around.
Indeed. On board with Toby right now on the Seoul Dynasty side. They're going to go with Fleta on that Soldier 76. Effect going down. Fleta finds him with a big Helix rocket. And Seoul Dynasty going to be able to come onto the point with a numbers advantage as it unlocks. Got to worry about AKM. Oh, not anymore. I had to say it. I'm sorry I cursed you, man. Zunba getting the double on Harry Hook as well. Wow.
AKM got just pushed into a corner there and separated from the rest of his team. So easy for Fleta and Zunba to take him out. And having that man down at exactly the wrong time, right as the control point was unlocking, will mean they have to push out slower. This is more or less a pick cop for the Dallas Fuel. XQC's going to pull Jayhog off the edge.
Yeah, that's a halt and drop for the Orisa onto Jayhong. That's a problem for Seoul. Dallas could take the point back with this, maybe. Oh, maybe not. Munchkin with the pulse bomb. I am cursing everybody left and right here, man.
They're going to bring XQC back up, but I'm not sure how much that's going to help. Jayhong is going to be back here significantly faster than Mickey.
That's right. Dallas still in the corner. Got to wait for those respawns now. AKM low. Munchkin takes him out. Not able to stave off that dive this time around. Fleta just keeping Dallas bottled up near their spawn, and that's nearly 50% already built up by Seoul.
Jayhong playing in the very far back right now. Won't be dragged off the edge by that halt any longer. Different approach from the Fuel this time. They're coming around onto the high ground side, seeing if they can get any pickoffs here.
Yep. What's the plan? Effect trying to flank, throws in the pulse bomb, doesn't find the kill he was looking for, but again, it keeps Seoul a little bit pushed back. Maybe an opportunity for Dallas to come onto the point. They're getting a little bit of control meter built up. You're now Transcendent, Seoul Dynasty diving in. Toby down already, though. Mickey managed to get that one. So hard to grind down that Roadhog. He gets hit with a pulse bomb, but he's still got plenty of health remaining here. Self-destruct comes in. Oh, it got pulled! Mickey, you pulled the self-destruct behind the shield. Oops.
Oh, boy.
You know, they're still going to get the point flipped over, but that was an oops moment for Mickey a little bit.
Definitely entertaining. So Dallas Fuel uses both support ults to go ahead and take that point. Taking a look at the
I like this.
The map overview right now in the bottom right. We'll see how these teams decide to approach. Looks like it will not be trying to contest the high ground right now. They're going to poke in.
Uh-oh, Costa.
Fleta just takes Gets his head taken off by Custa there. Help from the Mercy with the damage boost.
That's right. Soul gonna need to buy a little bit more time here before they come in and attack again. Jaehong with a bit of revenge. Zenyatta takes on Custa, but Harry Hook, again, they like using this Mercy, and that's why those picks don't mean much when they get rezzed. Mickey, oh, he can't take a breather fast enough. Fleta finishes him off. Custa gets Munchkin though, and AKM now with that tac visor, really causing a lot of problems for Souls that come onto the point. Uh-oh, AKM takes a Helix Rocket, still keeping Fleta pushed back though. And we've seen teams have the most success so far this stage when they put the pressure onto Fleta. If you can keep him pushed back, Soul has a big problem moving forward. So
Yeah,
him specifically you want to target.
Yeah, Fleta's going to make the change over to the Genji now, so they want to run a pure dive composition. They're going to be pretty happy that they got a couple of ults out of the Dallas Fuel, but Custa being damage boosted and getting those kills has actually gotten him his trance back pretty fast.
Yeah, it's whole hog time. Mickey just trying to keep people off the point. As Dallas Fuel pops the Transcendence as well to go in and fight. Mickey taking a breather, Toby goes for the hook, but oh, Mickey with the hook there. I said, but oh no, Jaehong pulled off the edge again by XQC. That Transcendence denied by XQC's Orisa. He's gonna get Zimba demeched as well. And now Fleta, low health. Munchkin gets a kill on XQC though. Soul trying to grind it back, but Dallas already up to 95% here.
I mean, there's no healing. There's no healing right now. Harry Hook gonna fall off, and that will be the flip. So pushed off the point there. Went for a risky resurrection and gets punished for it.
Now, it was a bit desperate, and Seoul Dynasty already at 90% themselves here. So Dallas on the verge of maybe losing this one. It's still very close. Miro in that primal rage. He's gonna need to get some heals as he backs away. Dallas trying to flip the point back one more time. Finding the back lines. Harry Hook does have that Valkyrie though to keep his team nice and healthy, and now AKM with that tac visor, maybe enough. Pulse Bomb doesn't do a lot. Meanwhile, on the point, Dallas flips it back. This could be big. Harry Hook brings a res in onto Custa. Soul in a lot of trouble. Fleta, oh, he gets one.
The Dragon Blade, he's gonna come back onto the points. Only 60 HP though.
That's right. If they can turn this around, that would be insane. There's Reflect on the Mickey's whole hog. He turns, and Dallas takes Sanctum. It got close at the end there, but they pulled it out.
Especially with the help of XQC, had a couple of very important halt kills onto Jaehong Zenyatta. So cutting off the supply of healing, crucial to Dallas's success.
And you just can't underestimate the power of that Orisa right click, that halt that pulls people in, because not only can you pull people into the center to kind of set up hooks, do fun things like that, but as you can see, you can set them up over a bottomless pit.
It's always it's always a nice benefit getting those environmental kills on the Orisa. And
that's right.
Now XQC has put a lot of practice into that hero ever since her release. So fun to see him play it finally after Mickey was the primary Orisa player on this team for most of stage one.
Dallas definitely benefiting a lot from having this guy back again. Moving on to Village now. Soul Dynasty gonna have to fight against that Dallas Fuel Soldier 76 again. AKM back on that. They've got the Pharah this time, so we'll see. Miro a little bit low. That was a dangerous moment for Soul. Dallas is kind of pushing back for the moment, but these rockets are going to need to do something about that. They've been pressuring AKM a lot, so he hasn't had a lot of time to fire at Fleta. XQC down. Now Soul surging ahead with these kills.
Yeah, Fleta moved all the way onto the opposite side of the map. He's keeping plenty of distance, respecting AKM's abilities on that Soldier 76 and trying to play around the hut in the middle using the Spire for some coverage. And he's still just poking out a little bit more, seeing what he can get done, being, again, very cognizant of the threat that AKM poses on the Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those maps where Pharah definitely has the edge there, too, because you can stay far enough back that Soldier just doesn't do a lot of damage. It's a Tracer duel on the point right now. Munchkin has to recall first as a Winston comes in. XQC getting picked, though. Toby comes in for the finishing blow with that right-click. Fleta has to duck over the top of the roof. He needs some heals, man. There we go. Finally getting a little bit of that. Mickey demeched. And Dallas not having a lot of success pushing this one right now.
Well, what Fleta did, though, was he prevented AKM from really joining that fight by just trying to play the choke on the high ground and spamming it with rockets. So he cut off a couple of members of the Fuel from even really engaging in that fight at all. In effect, was attempting to get them to pressure the point so that Fleta would leave, but it didn't actually end up happening because Munchkin was there with the Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, meanwhile, Miro pushed back in the room. Ooh, this is a dangerous moment for him. He's got to deal with the dive, trying to get out, jump on cooldown. Now he's got to pop that Primal Rage. Comes back into the house, and oh boy, that could be rough for Dallas. Transcendence forced out. Fleta gets AKM anyway. And Miro just batting around the boys in blue. Meanwhile, it's going to be a barrage for Fleta. Gets a couple. Ariel taken up by Zunba. That may put the icing on the cake here for this round for Soul. There goes Mickey, and already 80% Dallas with maybe a push left, but finally AKM with a bit of revenge.
Yeah, he did get a bit of revenge there at the end. It may give them a very limited window to push in without Fleta up. His respawn will be slightly delayed thanks to his aggression and killing effect, and Dallas needs every moment they can get.
Oh, stick again on the XQC. Can they finish him off? No, Primal Rage comes in. He's gonna use that ultimate to stay up. Munchkin just dodging, getting some more ult charge back on the Raging Ape. Zunba down via the Helix Rocket. Dallas on the verge. They do flip it back. So, Soul Dynasty, probably a bit irritated to not win the point right there, but hey, you're 99% to 0. You can take the time to build up some more ult charge and come back.
I mean, you see the Primal Rage used, you see the Valkyrie used, you're at 99%. Just go ahead and disengage right there. Play it safe, make sure you can have a decisive victory because you know that they desperately use their resources in order to push you off it. In fact, needs to get some damage done with this Pulse Bomb right now and delay as much as he can.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, Munchkin being a little bit annoying on the point. Toby in a lot of trouble here. Gonna try to take him out. Oh, he couldn't quite get to the health pack, it looked like. Effect with a big kill there. Meanwhile, back on the point, Zunba a little bit on his own, gets demeched without a lot of support there. And Fleta back on that Genji, doing what he can, but there's only so much. Dallas Fuel holding strong for the moment.
But that was a mission success from the Soul Dynasty. They killed Harry Hook early, so he wasn't going to get charged towards his Valk. Jaehong stayed alive up until the very end of that fight, and that means that he has the Transcendence moving in now.
Yep.
So this is going to be an interesting push from the side of Soul. They should have a big advantage as they blitz the point.
Oh, this is what they've been waiting for, but now the Pulse Bomb comes in. Toby caught by that, and AKM finishes off Fleta. Effect waited for that one, and it could not have been more perfect placement.
Oh, that was absolutely enormous for the side of the Fuel. The fact that they got kills means that Custa's going to have a chance now to match the Transcendence.
Yeah. Oh, this is pretty huge. 80% now for Dallas Fuel. They are getting pretty close to 99 themselves. Soul Dynasty, though, they didn't really use anything on that last push as far as ults go, so they've still got the edge in that category. Here comes Miro, Primal Rage, just zoning out AKM as best they can. It's a flying Zenyatta, but he's going to come down to provide a bit more healing for Dallas Fuel. Soul Dynasty, meanwhile, pops their own Transcendence. AKM, again, not getting a lot done with that Tag Visor, but here comes a blade from Fleta. Gets one, Munchkin finishing off a couple kills too, and in OT it was so close, but Soul Dynasty back on the point again, and it looks like they're going to flip it. Can anyone from Dallas get back in time? I don't know.
Effect is still alive. He's going to try, but he's zoned out by Fleta. And that means Soul will tie it up.
Oh, that was a really close one. And that last fight, you saw Soul execute that pretty well, I think, man. They were on AKM from the beginning, got him pushed back, and then got Fleta the room to pull out that Dragon Blade without a lot of concern.
Yeah, they did a couple of things very well. First off, Miro forced out the Transcendence from the side of Custa. He was well away from his team and being punched back. Jaehong had much more efficiency on the Transcendence by being close to his teammates. It was also, Zunba was positioned inside the Trance to absorb most of the damage of the Tactical Visor as well. So
just a very good push from Soul.
Yeah, ultimate efficiency definitely winning the day there.
Yep. And here we go, the final round here on Nepal. We're going to Shrine. Whoever takes this one takes the map. A lot of fight in Dallas Fuel today, as we've seen. And it's back to Soldier versus Soldier. Fleta versus AKM one more time. Miro, meanwhile, just tickling people with the lightning cannon.
Yeah, will be a mirror matchup in terms of composition. Both these teams do like to run Tracer or Soldier on Shrine.
Oh,
and Fleta gonna punish that peeking, and look like Harry Hook is gonna die while resurrecting XQC.
And that was just a ton of damage brought in by Fleta. Now they demech Mickey, and Dallas won't even be able to really contest this point. Fleta getting really aggressive there. You gotta be careful. If there's any way Soul's kind of punish themselves in these matches, it's being too aggressive on the chase, I think.
Yeah, it has been a bit iffy there. Fleta that time not punished as he aims at the ground and sprints while weaving back and forth like he's avoiding a mob of angry bees.
That's how you avoid them. All right, here we go. It's a stick on XQC. A little bit of damage onto him. Zumba finishing him off. That's big. Winston out of the way already. Mickey demeched yet again, and Dallas not even able to get close to the point. Munchkin going crazy with these eliminations here, and Seoul Dynasty going to be up to around 40% here before Dallas can come back. Good start for Dynasty.
Yeah, very good start. Have the tactical visor as well, and early deaths from the supports, meaning that they're playing from behind yet again in the support ult economy.
Yeah.
A lot of that's been Munchkin's ability to get into the back lines, or it's been Harry Hook being a bit too aggressive with his resurrection positioning.
And Toby over on the Mercy now. Swap for Souls. They come in and take out AKM. Helix rocket right to the face from Fleta. Dallas, can they get back on the point here? Tactical visor, Fleta trying to find that tracer. There goes Effect, he gets him. Meanwhile, Self-Destruct keeps on zoning people. Fleta with 2 already. Harry Hook going for the risky res. Ooh, can't do it. Miro with the kill there.
And that tactical visor
Oh boy.
just stuffed the Valkyrie from Harry Hook. They're coming back though with the Transcendence. Will be matched by Jaehong. So they need to get that out, and then AKM has to have a huge tactical visor. We'll see what XQC if he can zone out the Trance using the Primal Rage.
That's right. Dallas coming back in. They need to get some momentum going in this fight. 90% for Seoul right now. Jaehong in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't know which way to turn. Decides to pop that Transcendence to stay alive. Oh, that Pulse Bomb. A little bit more, less damage rather than I thought it would do, but Dallas coming in with their own send out ultimate now, but nobody gets on the point. Oh, man. Seoul just containing Dallas, and they will take Nepal.
Jaehong realized that if he pushed forward with his Transcendence, there wasn't going to be an opportunity for Dallas Fuel to actually get to the point in time. And so he makes the aggressive play. They fight in the choke point. And even though Dallas does what's right, wait for that tactical visor, it's just too late. There's not enough time for control percentage to be built up there.
That's right. Well, Seoul 2-0 going into halftime. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with more Overwatch right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
time, and so far it is all Seoul Dynasty. They have a 2-0 lead coming into the half, and in no small part to the work. Well, honestly, it's the whole team. I was going to say Fleta, I was going to say Munchkin, but no, Miro's getting the job done. Everyone's doing their job. So are my analysts. We got Brenton, we got Crumbs back in action once again. And let's start here with Game 1 Seoul Dynasty, because they set up a league record with that first attack, taking A and B in, what was it, a minute 17 seconds? What were we seeing from the squad early on?
Okay, first of all, there is no way anybody breaks that record from now on, because that was blazingly fast, and it was just a matter of the soldier matchup. You were outranged by a Widowmaker, so they didn't expect that Fleta was going to bust out the Widowmaker. As soon as he sets up on the high ground, they just flood back, and the point snowballs like crazy. This is the Seoul Dynasty on one of their defenses, and we're going to be...
Right now, we're just looking at the general highlights, and as you saw here, this was a really fast take from Seoul. This is Dallas's attempt, and they answered right back. There was about a minute and, 20 seconds slower than Seoul, but yeah. I expected this one to go maybe 6-11 rounds again. Seoul, they stood strong on defense. What did we see, Brad?
Yeah, in general, Seoul have been taking the aggression to Dallas, as odd as that is to say. So as soon as I saw XQC in this lineup, I was under the assumption that they'd be playing a hard, aggressive style of dive composition. But instead, it's been very sort of slow-paced, patient, passive. They've been waiting for AKM to try and prioritize bringing down Zumba, bringing down Miro, trying to get them basically out of the picture, out of the fight. Because a lot of the way Seoul is setting up these fights is around the tanks. That's what it's all based around. And Seoul have kind of just completely worked around that. They don't care about that at all. They've been ignoring that fact. They've been waiting for opportunities, and they have been bringing the aggression back to Dallas and getting the picks where necessary.
Now, Crumbs, as you mentioned, Dallas came in with the plan, right? And they were executing it well. I know you have 2 clips for us to walk through. Let's start with the Dallas looking good. What were they doing on the positive side?
So in the pregame, it was like, AKM, this guy's a sick soldier. Right, it doesn't help to know how sick he is. We got to watch it. So this is exactly why he's really good. So he's set up on the high ground, and you want to be on the high ground because that means that you have a better field of vision on the entire fight. But most of all, when anybody has to try to dive you, they have to commit a movement ability. So he's not going for anything other than just your random potches. Obviously, nobody knows how that killed Jaehong, but look at that. The Genji is very low. He doesn't move. He knows that attack visor is coming up. He has to maintain the position in the high ground, just hammering away, and then the ability to just hit this Helix rocket is sick. He maintains his ground, knows that the attack visor is coming up, and this is what is a big threat for the Seoul Dynasty, and they eventually figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah, Seoul in general, like, this is what happens when you give AKM room, but this is what happens when you start to pressure him a little bit. And this is what Seoul ended up doing. They ended up trading some of their ultimates. You can see Miro's using the Primal Rage to try and take positioning. So they're basically allowing Dallas to get onto the point, but then using ultimates, trading ultimates to force AKM and the rest of Dallas into these unfavorable positions. And as you can see, when AKM gets forced down to the low ground, there's not a lot he can do. He gets pressured out very easily by Miro, and this is what Seoul is so bloody good at. It's just, as the game goes on, they seem to get better and better at sort of clocking exactly what you're trying to do. And, you know, round 1 might go your way slightly, you know, but they immediately come back with a strategy, with a game plan in mind to try and shut down whatever it was that was working for you.
A great job by Seoul to adjust, and Miro, you saw the big player there knocking away the Soldier 76. And coming into this match, I was so excited for the Winston face-off. You got XQC, who were hyping up the entire Gladiators match, going up against Miro, and you look at the numbers here, so close in eliminations, 1st and 2nd in the league in our first week of Stage 2. The deaths pretty similar. Miro, one of the fewest deaths in the league. When you look at this match, though, XQC not able to play the same style. It felt like you didn't see him picking up as many Olymps. He was 0-11 for game number 1. You look at game number 2, the success they saw was when he was running the Orisa. So as we take a look forward here, guys, what should happen with Dallas if you're playing XQC in the second half? Do you consider going back to the other tank, Coco?
I feel like you stick XQC in still. You keep him in, right? Because the main issue is it's not actually with XQC, it's the way the general play style of Dallas is. I've been watching them in the map view, and they've been playing very slow, very passive, very patient, as I've already said. And Seoul have just taken the aggression straight to them and taken them off guard a little bit. XQC, this guy is a mental tank, right? He just jumps in, he doesn't care when he's on that main tank role.
That means different things.
Yeah, but he's aggressive. That's his play style. He's hyper-aggressive. He's instinctual. That's the way I described him before, right?
Yeah.
He plays based on what he feels is right. And now he's being forced to play in a play style that he is uncomfortable with on the Winston and is more suited to the Orisa, which is why they had more success with that role. Essentially, when he runs the Orisa, they can play around the shield. Harry Hook's playing a lot closer with the Mercy as well, so he's getting away with Resurrects where before they're not allowed. So
I think it's just a tendency of the field. They do better when you have that shield. The Orisa's a shield, and then the Reinhardt. We thought that Reinhardt was going to be a big one, and it probably will be following in the next 2 games. But when they have this barrier, it makes things so much easier. You know, okay, you can go into this space. It's safe. It's a place for you to hide where you can't get hit. And I think it just slows things down for them. You're saying they're playing slow. What better way to do it with shield compositions? That's when they got their win in Nepal. And I think that if they go into Route 66 in Hollywood, it'll be a lot easier then, too.
So let's talk about the future here. We got 2 more maps right now. If you're Dallas Fuel, you need to win them both to take this to a Game 5. Hollywood is coming up next. What is the single improvement they can make to take this game?
I personally believe, I think Rascal needs to come in now. I think that's the change you need to make here for Dallas Fuel. If they take out AKM now, put Rascal in, because right now they are very easy to read, right? AKM, he plays the Soldier 76 well, he plays the Fire very well, surprisingly well for someone. That's something that people didn't really expect from him, but he does play it to a high level. If you bring in Rascal, you're now going to be much more comfortable playing those sort of Tracer Genji compositions, because I mean, you want to see a lot of Ryan comps on this
Wouldn't
map.
you be able to then read Rascal as well? You're expecting it not to be Soldier, not to be Farah, and to be Genji, and then some other kooky thing like maybe Omei.
But yeah, I mean, possibly, but I feel like this is what Dallas needs to do. Instead of trying to slow down a play style and be a bit uncomfortable, just let it loose. Go full on aggression, make XQC play to his strengths, play around Effect and Rascal just absolutely taking names, taking heads in the map. That's what I feel like you need to do right now if you are in the position of Dallas Fuel.
Do you put Seagull in? Is Taimu going to be in the mix today? We'll find out what Dallas is bringing to the table. They need to switch something up. They're down 2-0 at the half. We'll see if they can bring it back in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
The Seoul Dynasty are up 2-0 on the Dallas Fuel. Man, I'm getting deja vu. Because I feel like I've seen this movie before between these two teams. Anyways, we still have a whole another half to go. Will the Dallas Fuel pull off the reverse sweep, or will the Seoul Dynasty just win this one flat out? Because every map matters. Let's go ahead and get back into the action and send it over to our casters, Monty and Do.
All right, thanks, Malik. That's right. We're back, guys. Seoul Dynasty with the 2-0 lead over Dallas Fuel. And it's looking rough for Dallas, but they made a fight of it, at least. Nepal was very close. There were some sparks of brilliance on Hanamura as well. And now we move into Hollywood with one substitution coming in for the Seoul Dynasty side. Wakid coming in for Munchkins, so we'll see what this guy can do. I'm interested to see what sort of strats they've got planned, what comps they've got planned as we look forward to this map.
Yeah, it probably means that we're going to see something different from Seoul than what they showed on their first Hollywood map, especially running the Widowmaker Tracer combination on defense on Hollywood was something a bit out of the ordinary that we saw from Seoul, but probably with Wakid, we can expect some more projectile play. He also can play Tracer in a pinch, but you bring him in when you need some versatility.
That's right. This is one of the maps where we maybe see a little bit less Tracer than some of the other maps in the league, but he's got that Pharah. We know he's got that Genji, and yeah, Fleta can play those too, but if they're going to run something like triple tank, then, you know, now you've got the option of having Fleta or Wekid flex onto one of those two, and Fleckid, or Fleckid, that's what you combine the two of them. I've made them into one super DPS, Fleckid. But he also plays a Doomfist. There you go.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to potentially see the Junkrat from Wekid, which is, when we've seen him brought in the past, has been oftentimes to play this hero, and Renegade on attack might be a bit interesting, but still being able to control that choke point, and if you can take that high ground, gives you a commanding presence, raining some grenades down over the top of the point.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, this is definitely going to be something different than we saw in week one, because in week one, they pretty much played exclusively dive, except for like control center on Lijiang Tower, where they ran some triple tank, like we're going to see pretty much everybody do. But Seoul Dynasty, a lot of interesting picks there on the attack, but we've got 30 seconds left on the clock before they start, so probably see some change-ups. Who left that chair on the point? That's a safety hazard, man. Somebody could trip over that.
Yeah, you can see Dallas Fuel as well. Only a quarter of their maps on Hybrid have been successful so far in terms of turning out a map win.
You know, Orisa has twice the chance to trip on that chair than the rest of the heroes in Overwatch.
Yes, but she also has twice the ability to stand up after tripping over something. So,
well, you know, glass half full, glass half empty kind of thing.
Rehook on the Moira this time instead of Custa, their typical Moira ace. And
speaking of Moira,
will be a pick composition. So the ball and chain combination of Orisa and Roadhog looking to create some picks around the side.
Speaking of picks, triple tank on the Seoul side. We'll see if Fleta can grab any of these hooks early. They're coming in. Mickey hooked to right. They're going to focus him down. They get him. Miro with the fire strike comes in, finishes him off. That was a charge, actually. My bad. And man, they are storming onto this point right now. I don't think that Dallas was expecting Seoul to be this aggressive, but they've got to deal with the members of Dallas on the high ground. Zimba going to charge right up there. Weki gets two with the concussion mine. Don't tell me it's Nerf, man. Weki doesn't know. And I think they're going to take a pretty quick point A here.
And that they are. And this is one of those times where you're sort of just rock, paper, scissored out of it. They didn't know that they were going to be running this on attack. Previously, Seoul had played dive on attack on Hollywood. If they had played dive, there would have been a lot more opportunities to get the halt into hook combination.
Right.
But when they're just running in behind Miro's shield out of security, you're never going to have that opening unless you could burst the barrier instantly. So with that Moira just jamming the tanks into the front line, very successful strategy from the side of Seoul.
It's a tire. Wekid coming in, finds effect, and Mickey from behind. Mickey D-Mac just at the right moment. Dallas Fuel making a lot of hero changes on defense. They took the high ground, but you also reset your ult economy by making a big compositional swap like that. And so far, Seoul not really slowed down right now.
I mean, but you have to do it. An AKM on Pharah is absolutely the right change they need for this low-range composition that Seoul is running. Not a great way to deal with the Pharah unless the Junkrat jumps into the air with his own mine here and follows up with some play from Mickey's Diva.
That sound barrier from Seoul as Dallas tries to push forward again. Fleta had one hook onto Mickey, got him focused down. That payload still not stalled at all. Transcendence, Custom just trying to delay. Oh, but there the barrage comes in. Jehong taken out by AKM. He got one with the ult anyway. Effect takes on Miro. So Soul starting to get pushed back a little bit here. And that Transcendence may have just been worth it for Dynasty to finally stop the payload.
I love the aggressive play from the Fuel, trying to stop that out. You don't expect the combination set up in advance of the Transcendence. AKM dropping low enough to make sure he got within the healing radius of the Trance, and that's going to be a different signal now for him to switch to the Soldier. So they are making adjustments. Soul showing that they want to use now the Mercy and the Widowmaker.
That's right. Oh, Fleta sent flying. The high ground belongs to Dallas for the moment. Soul wants to contest. Toby gets a res on the Fleta. They've got the Mercy on the Dynasty side now as well. A lot of pressure on the Mickey here. He's going to have to drop. Need to get a bit of heals and then come back up again. Custom managed to find the click onto Fleta.
That was not a good approach from Soul. They went up too early. Fleta should not be leading the charge onto the high ground, had no protection, and Mickey just blows him up.
That's right. Meanwhile, Lucky trying to stave off the Primal Rage from XQC. Looks like Soul Dynasty going back to the drawing board for the moment. They're going to go ahead and reset.
The Valkyrie, though, late from Harry Hook means that there is going to be an opportunity for Toby to pick up his own Valkyrie coming through. Wakid now onto the Genji. So Widowmaker Genji will be the play, trying to control the high ground with these two heroes. Genji to push them off, Widowmaker to take the place as Soul advances on top of these buildings.
It's a stick. Oh no, Jehong! The bomb was brought by Zumba right into them, and there goes Miro. Gonna say, man, Effect had Soul right where he wanted them. They were all grouped up in that hallway, and I don't think Tracer gets much more happy than when she's got a chance to toss a pulse bomb into a hallway filled with enemies.
And fantastic value they got. They even forced the Lucio swap from Toby, so nothing gained out of the Valkyrie for the Soul Dynasty whatsoever. And Dallas Fuel, with 2 minutes left, is coming up on most of their ultimates again. So this map looking great for the Fuel thus far.
They've turned this into a really strong hold on point B. It's going to be the ultimate from Widowmaker. Soul knows where everybody is. AKM, attack visor, drops down, he finds Fleta, caught him out in the open. Weki's soon to fall as well, and Soul Dynasty just cannot seem to get any progress on this payload now.
No, they can't. They're cutting off Fleta right now. He continues to stay on that Widowmaker. No more infrasight available to him.
Yeah.
And attack visor and the Valkyrie used by the Fuel, but they hold on to everything else. XQZ coming up on another Primal Rage, and Soul swapping has done a lot of damage to their ult economy so far in this game, and they are having trouble getting purchase, and Dallas just living on top of the buildings in Westworld here.
Effect waiting for the supports to come by. Wekid sees him though. Wekid very low. Effect on the run, back on the payload to slow that down. It's been pushed back quite a ways. We saw what he did with that pulse bomb last time. I'd be afraid if I were Soul.
Staying on the payload as well, not making any attempts there are the Soul Dynasty to back cap it or push him off. Will be Transcendence used on the high ground by Custa.
Yeah, forced out. I can see, meanwhile, with Zimba in the room, they're going to push him back. Again, Soul not able to get to the payload. Zimba demacked, and that is disastrous with only a minute remaining for Soul Dynasty. AKM drops, but they've got the res. Oh, Harry Hook caught by Wekid, and that's a problem for Custa. Wekid gets him as well. That's both supports down. Soul Dynasty, they use the Transcendence. They really want to get this payload going.
Oh, just
Mickey.
Before the remake.
That is brutal, man. He really needed to stall that payload out. Soul Dynasty gonna get a big push going, but Dallas should have a chance to just barely regroup and defend this.
They will, but it's going to depend on how fast they can get some of these ultimates up. Sound Barrier and Dragon Blade going to make it very difficult for them not to get wiped before that Valkyrie. So they've got to wait on that Valk right now. If they can take a little bit of poke and try and move Harry Hook closer to that ultimate, it would be in their favor.
Dragon Blade could be big if he gets Harry Hook. Can he do it? AKM down. Wekid finding more. They've got that Sound Barrier. There goes Custa. Harry Hook taken out by Miro. They're winning the fight, but we're into overtime already. Dynasty manages to take out Dallas. They will get through point B, but only a minute and a half in the time bank to finish off Hollywood. It is possible. We've seen it before. but it's going to be tough. At least they've got some ultimates to work with.
You have to be so impressed with Soul's awareness of who to target in specific fights and when critical ultimates are coming up. They knew Harry Hook was close to that Valkyrie, therefore he was the primary target. Play actively, drop the sound barrier and the Dragon Blade, make sure he's eliminated from the fight so at least you get some extra time to move this payload. That is absolutely the right target in this situation.
That's right. If you're Zimba, everyone's coming down. I think you put that self-destruct in the hallway there. Yeah, he's going to use it. Oh, gets taken out by AKM, though. AKM in trouble himself. Meanwhile, Harry Hook with a bloodthirsty mercy kill on Fleta. Wow, don't see that every day.
The Valkyrie kill with the help. He was being helped out there by the Orb of Discord.
Hey, it feels good, man. Toby backing away. All of Soul forced back for the moment. Dallas coming out on top of that one. Soul with 29 seconds to work with here. They can regroup, they can go for another push, but they're gonna have to grind that one all the way out. There's a chase. Fled in a lot of trouble here.
Fleta changing over to the Soldier 76 now. Once there aren't as many long sight lines for the Widowmaker, you want the mid-range Soldier or the McCree for this point if you're moving to that hit scan.
XQC's so aggressive, dude. Wow. Transcendence used by Custa. All right. They're going to try to turn this into a fight. Mickey trying to push that out the door just enough. Weki taken out with a pulse bomb. That's big for Fleta. Now we're on to OT again. Soul Dynasty coming in with their own Zenyatta ultimate here. XQC camping the payload now. He finds the opportunity to push the soft DPS, the soft support members away. AKM finishes off Fleta with that tac visor, and Jaehong in a lot of trouble here. Weki could turn it around with the pulse bomb, but he needs to get those kills. Can't cut through the healing from the biotic field, and XQC coming in with some finishing blows, and that's where it's gonna end for the attack round for Soul. Nice hold from Dynasty, or from Dallas Fuel rather.
Yeah, it was, and Wakid's early death meant that he had to come back with the Dragon Blade. By the time he respawned, made it back into that fight, he was simply surrounded by the members of the Dallas Fuel. No chance to get any good value out of that Dragon Blade ultimate. And checking here, that's just a great play from Effect. Effect has come alive on this map.
Wow, that was just a good combo. And you can see something that Mickey does a lot too on that Diva, where he puts the Diva just on the edge of poking out around an area with that self-destruct, and then he just sort of shoves it forward with Pilot Diva. And Soul knew that was coming, which is why they backed in that little corner. But yeah, like we saw, Effect ready to capitalize on that.
You can surprise people who think that they're safe by these little bitty tricks, just
little
getting
shoves there,
getting the Diva barely within line of sight.
Yep, you push it off of a bridge just barely, or you push it out of a doorway. Mickey's like the king of that move.
So Dynasty played dive on their last attack here on Hollywood, and they played that interesting Widow Tracer defense, and we're not going to see that this time. We'll be Soldier with the Junkrat. So
okay, I do like the Junkrat on defense here. You've got that one distinct choke to really kind of cover with the grenades. We've seen it work many times in the past.
Also, you're very close to get accurate concussion mines if you're on the high ground onto the point itself.
Yeah.
Dallas Fuel, Effect on the McCree. AKM looking like he wants to use the Pharah. Soul, I think, playing the Soldier 76, knowing that this is certainly a possibility from Dallas.
Now, on Nepal earlier, we kind of talked about how sometimes with the Pharah you can go far enough back that the Soldier can't quite do damage to you, but this isn't a point like that. You do need to get a little bit closer with the Pharah if you're going to attack point A here on Hollywood, and Fleta should be close enough to maybe cause some problems for AKM. With that Soldier 76, we will find out shortly.
I'm not sure how much value the McCree is going to get either when there aren't any divers on the other team.
One wonders, but you know, maybe Dallas anticipating that they might run into some dive. Got time to swap. AKM, yeah, taking some damage as he comes in. You can see you got to get a lot closer than you do on Village. On Nepal.
Yeah, he's not going to hit anybody with that flashbang. Trying to preempt somebody coming up the stairwell. Not going to be successful, but in the meantime, both supports of Soul are already dead.
Yeah, that's right. AKM really finding those rockets that they need, and this is going to be potentially a very quick point A for Dallas. Got everybody backed into that tiny little choke that you have to come through. And whoa, Weki picked out of the air by AKM. Don't want to be underneath the Junkrat when he dies in the air, but hey, everything turned out okay for Dallas.
Nice damage boost, and take a look at this. Coming over the top, realizing where the supports will... Oh, they were just grouped up in the back, and with those damage boosted rockets, you take so much damage from those shots that makes it easy for the Pharah to pick you off even if you're a little bit out of position.
Well, that was just a beautiful angle for AKM to come in from, and You know, we saw Dynasty start off with a lot of time on point B when they attacked. Nearly got held by Dallas. Now Seoul needs to try to do the same thing on their defensive round.
Yeah, first pushes from each of these teams on point A were successful.
Good board position for Dallas here on the high ground. Oh, Fleta a little bit on his own, taken out by Effect and AKM. Meanwhile, Effect trying to keep Miro from really causing problems for his team on the high ground. He's so low, that's an easy one. Easy one for AKM.
I mean, Harry Hook was nearly dead that entire time. Big Riptire will make this attack a little bit harder for the Dallas Fuel. That's why Soul was committing so hard to trying to kill him. He was about 20 HP at times, managed to float his way back up onto that high ground. I'm gonna take a look at this Riptire.
Let's see how he managed to make it work. Just gonna come around the corner. Yeah, all right. You know, sometimes you want to be tricky with that Riptire, go up a wall. Sometimes it's just best served to just go right in.
Timing great too, really made Mickey self-destruct useless because he was caught out of his back. Fleta wants to play that Widowmaker again, and he'll start off with a strong pick. AKM answering onto Wikid.
Yep. XQC has to Primal Rage. Took a lot of damage from Fleta's Widow. Harry Hook brings Effect back up again. Now Fleta on the run. XQC going really deep for this one. Getting a bit low. He could get punished. Oh, gets the heals just in time.
With the Orb of Discord, and you can't survive jumping back in like that. Thought he had more support from his team, trying to create that crossfire from the backside of the cart, but it's just not going to work. And now Fleta wants to try and peek this, get a support player while he can. He's gonna,
it's pretty far up.
Wikid can also get a lucky concussion mine. Not protecting the cart though, in effect will push it forward just a little bit.
So Soul kind of doing what Dallas did, honestly, on this point, where you just get really firm control of that high ground, and then you've got that advantage. Here comes the Riptire one more time. Wikid down, so from the grave, the Riptire will get the D-Mech onto Mickey. Miro gets the stomp onto AKM. The payload stalled out again, but maybe with Zumba about to go down. Can he use the self-destruct? It's going to allow Soul to come back onto the payload, start defending that a little bit more. Jaehong finishing blow on the Custa. That's going to be a little nice stagger for Soul.
And now the onus is really on to Fleta. They have to get rid of these supports quickly. They've got so much time to bleed off this clock right now, and they only have the Transcendence. Both support ults being up for Soul may mean that they can push through point B here. So more picks absolutely necessary for the Dynasty.
Well, they managed to drain about half of that time off the clock already, so it's been a really solid start for Soul. They got to keep the momentum going. That's one way to do it, yep. Concussion mine from Wekid again. He hasn't seen the patch notes, apparently. AKM with a fadeaway kill on the Miro there. Both Winston's out of the way. Toby gets the res. So Miro back in the fight on the defensive round as Dallas kind of resets a little bit. But how do you assault this high ground? You know, between the Junkrat and the Widow, it's really, really tough to jump up there.
Yeah, and because they keep playing the Soldier 76 too, they are reliant on the elevators to get their DPS onto the high ground, and that's creating a lot of problems. Mickey has to use the self-destruct simply to remech.
Right. All right, XQC going to the back lines, uses that Primal Rage. Barely got that ultimate off before he went down. AKM biding his time here. They've got Soul pushed back a little bit. Nice shot onto Wekid out of the air. Wow. AKM, man, he continues to blow me away with the Soldier 76. Insane stuff. Transcendence, as soon as that's over, this sacrifice is going to do a lot of work. Right now, it's just allowing the payload to move forward. Zumba drops down to try to stop that, but he's on his own. D-Mech almost immediately. And Toby, what are you doing, buddy?
Shooting his
Battle bursting. Good luck. Oh, Miro, though, gets a couple. Can they stop the payload, though? I don't know, man. Toby, only so much you can do, man. That's going to be it. So they will have quite a bit of time left as they get point B. And now Soul Dynasty in a lot of trouble, because look at that blue box on your screen right there. That's all the farther that Dallas needs to get this payload to win Hollywood.
And how are they going to do it, Doa? They're going to try and make some switch-ups right here. Toby wants to be on the Lucio once again, but no ultimates to use. AKM trying to get onto the McCree, knowing that they're going to have to play on top of the payload where he can flashbang them, and if he gets that high noon, if he gets that Deadeye, he's going to zone them off the end of the objective.
Oh, Miro really low, man. Ooh, that was close. Wekid taken down, Effect picks him off, throws that pulse bomb out. Doesn't quite catch anybody, though. I think maybe it got the D-Mech on Zimba. A lot of damage anyway. Jaehong coming in with the Transcendence a little bit late to save his Diva there.
I was trying to
rotate.
Nobody's there.
Dallas Fuel will take Hollywood. and they are still in this one.
So that was not the fault of the Seoul Dynasty. XQC's Primal Rage pushed back the members who could have gotten onto that payload.
Yeah.
What Seoul was trying to do was juggle which player was on the payload at one time. XQC completely ruined that for them with some nice use of the Winston ultimate.
I can predict Twitch chat right now. It's not a C9, guys. That was just XQC being a good Winston player. Just pretty good. Good like this Riptire, man. Dallas Fuel coming back in this series. Map 4 is going to get interesting. Don't go anywhere. It's coming up right after this.
Let's go! Come on! Reverse sweep! Let's do it!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Focus up, guys. Focus up.
We have the best players. We have the best fans.
Going into game. Going to 3. On 3.
We wanted to make sure that all the best players in the world were in the league, regardless of where they're from. You're really starting to see everybody really wants to up their game.
Welcome back, guys, to the Blizzard Esports Arena here in sunny California. A little bit less sunny than usual. It's been a bit chilly, but
It's still been sunny.
The action's been red hot. See, there was my segue. You cut me off. You ruined my segue.
Good.
How dare you?
I hate segways. They're useless anyway.
I've never been on
you
one,
just like
actually.
ride around, just walk instead.
I don't know
It's
what's
healthier.
You're going about the same speed.
You look
and
like a
it's a bit
dork.
safer, isn't it?
You look like a dork.
You know what I think are actually cool though? Those like little single wheel things that you stand on. Those are actually pretty neat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where it's like
Is it called a unicycle?
No, you sit on those, man. You need to study your unicycles. Rascal coming in for AKM on the Dallas fuel side as we look ahead to Route 66. And with a win on Hollywood, Dallas looking at a chance here to tie up this series and send us to Ilios for that tiebreaker map.
Yeah, Doe was too busy describing unicycles, but it was actually Munchkin coming in for Wikid again as well.
Yes. Did I say Rascal for Wiki?
No. We just missed out on the first part of it because you wanted to talk about unicycles.
We didn't miss it. We just trusted the viewers at home to read what was on their screen. We trust you guys. We think highly of you.
Well, Doe does.
Oh, I do. That's right. Never change. Never change. We handle it.
So this is having Rascal back for this map. Both of these teams have won their one attempt at Route 66 so far. Rascal was in last time, of course, to play that Sombra Rawhide.
There you go. Yeah, we can do that again. Yeah.
Point A defense, Sombra heavy map like Volskaya. So we'll see what we will have pulled out from Rascal when they go further on defense if they don't full hold here on A, and what they're going to be playing on attack. Meanwhile, was Fleta on Sombra on Soul's defense, and they ran a dive attack, probably going to be getting that again now that Munchkin is back onto this roster.
You know what?
What are you going to try me, Doa?
I think it's very poignant to note that the restaurant that served poignant that the rest shut up. It's important to note that the restaurant that served those famous Monte Cristos is closed and abandoned.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's because I'm here now. They can't serve me anymore, Doa.
That's right. Is that you always like brought on and said, you got served. Were you in that dancing movie?
Is that a dancing movie?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I don't even know that dancing
served?
movie exists.
I don't know. You know me.
I do. Too well, perhaps.
Rascal on the Sombra. We see this a lot on Defense here on Route 66. You get those health packs hacked, you build the EMP fast, and you've got a choke that the opponents come to that's very easy to capitalize on with that Sombra ultimate.
Fleta on the McCree this time, so very interesting. Trying to deal with the Sombra. We've seen this come up as more of an answer by many teams to Sombra, trying to get the flashbang. And the reason is she'll poke in and then try and translocate out back to the hacked health pack to gain that EMP charge faster.
Sure.
Now,
Ooh,
she's flashbanged. She can't do that.
Oh, Munchkin causing damage in the back line. That was a kill on Nacusta that Dallas is going to feel certainly. Feel as well. Mickey taking out. Well, Munchkin, man, going on a tear here.
Rascal EMP up now.
Yeah, and finishes him up before he can EMP, but he had lost other members of his team too, so that defense for Dallas kind of falling apart in a hurry.
Well, that was very aggressive on the attack by Soul, so they moved directly up on the payload and relatively ignored Rascal, trying to kill the other members of his team before the EMP could really resolve, and now they're zoned out of these health packs. Rascal's gonna be coming back in, has the EMP, let's see it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the pulse bomb gets off for Munchkin right before the EMP comes in. Miro and Fleta down though. XQC falls, and it looks like with the res, Fleta and the rest of Soul maybe able to grind this one back again.
And they are, though. Only 2 members were on the payload, so only the Tracer, Munchkin, and Miro on the Winston got the hack. So everybody else pulling back, knowing Rascal was going to have to go directly onto the payload itself. And with that resurrection, they are able to get the damage to clean up over the top of the payload.
That's right. Soul comes into point B with a lot of ultimates in the bank, actually, nearly all 6. So not only did they win that fight and take point A, they did it super efficiently too.
Rascal now on the Soldier 76, so double hit scan. After we see the Deadeye, may prompt Fleta to make a change in his own strategy in terms of hero selection.
Munchkin again, just waiting for it. Another pulse bomb comes in. Mickey super low. Oh, nearly got demech, but the sound barrier comes in actually for Dallas. That's going to keep them in the fight for the moment. They get Jae-Hong. There's effect on the Soul side though.
I guess who's back?
Another one. Yeah.
Jae-Hong.
Of course he's back. There's a res for Toby. Still putting that Mercy to good use. Fleta with the Deadeye. It looks like they managed to save him. Jae-Hong actually kept him alive there as Dallas dived in on that one.
They did, and Mickey with the defense matrix in his face, trying to body block the damage from the Deadeye. Successful. So Fleta gonna try and
XQC.
Chase XQC around the side.
Yep.
As Jae-Hong takes out Mickey and the Mini D. But Rascal does have the tac visor. He's on the high ground right now, but Dallas need to back off of this one to wait for Mickey to come back.
That's the plan. Miro going in. That's aggressive. Custa with a kill, though. Toby right there with the res. Again, this is where Mercy is the strongest now. Bringing up the Widow, bringing up the McCree in the back line that get picked off. Nullifying what Custa's great at. Jae-Hong comes back with his own Zenyatta aggression as well. Gets caught by FX Pulse Bomb, though. And Dallas not done yet on this defense. Nobody's really touched Munchkin yet at this point.
No, but the push is going to end. Munchkin's the only one left alive for Seoul. Doubles back to get the health back, and now Dallas Fuel, they can get an entrenched position here towards the end of the map, and they still retain the tactical visor onto Rascal. So looking good for a stronger defense right now.
And it gets hard to break this when you're the attackers on Route 66 point B. When the payload gets to that point, you've got a long way to go to get back to the action. And the defense with a lot of good places to set up.
Jedi to open up right now. Force them behind some cover, and Custa will not find that.
Zimba jumps right onto Rascal as well. Self-destruct coming in to try to push Soul back. Doesn't do a whole lot, though.
Oh, that sound barrier after two people were already dead. That's one you definitely want back if you're Harry Hook.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Meanwhile, Toby with the Valkyrie coming in, making sure everybody survives the rest of this push. Munchkin tracking down Effect. And that's going to be a smooth point B for Seoul Dynasty. Munchkin has really done great this attack round, actually. He has really been putting a lot of pain in the back lines of Dallas Fuel. Good pulse bombs, good picks just on his own.
Well, even Fleta, you don't expect that Deadeye to come out instantly.
Oh, Fleta, a bit too aggressive there on that one. Whoops.
Luckily his spawn is close, but yeah, he bit off more than he could chew.
That's right. I don't think you want to bite into the Dallas Fuel. That sounds dangerous.
We're waiting right now. Fleta will be making it back towards his teammates. Munchkin nearly dead. Does actually get the health back and win the duel.
Win that duel effect. There's a stick on XQC. Gets him. Munchkin turning the lollipop guild into the Assassin's Creed. Jeez, this guy is going crazy this map.
Wow, that is just some straight up aggressive play. Munchkin out of his mind here. We criticize Seoul for not having a second DPS threat at stage 1, and both Money and Munchkin look improved here, now in stage 2.
Seoul Dynasty, a lot of ults to use as they try to go for this final push. Your XQC diving deep. They've got that Transcendence. Here comes a Deadeye now.
Oh no!
Oh man, Effect gets caught. A lot of shots come in. Fled in a lot of trouble though. XQC has to back away. That was more damage than he was anticipating. Mickey comes in to save Rascal, gets in front of Fleta's shots.
XQC moved the Deadeye McCree into range of the rest of his team. It's lucky that didn't do more damage.
No kidding. Munchkin, another pulse bomb ready to go. Self-destruct coming in from Zimba to just push people back. Mickey falls, Effect very low himself. Munchkin, one more big pulse bomb could do it. He's been so good this round. Can he finish the fuel off again? Another stick on XQC.
The 180 stick.
Oh, that's huge. Harry Hook going in for the res. He gets him back up again. Luckily, they can bring that Winston back into the fight. Deadeye again for Fleta. Anyone going to be in the open here?
Waiting for that Winston barrier. Doesn't get it in time, but Zunba finishes off XQC all the same.
Wow,
Mickey the only one on the payload right now.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to get demeched in a heartbeat here. A stick on the Fleta. Effect. Maybe trying to turn this one around again here.
Zunba doing what he can. Can he get Custa? Yes, he will, but he's well behind enemy lines right now.
Well, the rest of Seoul kind of back in that upper room, and they can't really keep him alive. Unfortunately, Rascal does go down, but the defensive respawns are very close. Miro has to use that Primal Rage to get out. He takes down Harry Hook on the way, but again, by the time Soul's next push comes in, Harry Hook's going to be back.
Yeah, not really. I don't really like the Primal Rage usage there, but they are going to come back with the Valkyrie and with the Transcendence. Meanwhile, Custa has the Trans, but that's it. Rascal moves to the McCree. To shut down the flanking of Munchkin. Toby!
Whoa, Toby!
Assassinated.
Woo. Custa with another shot, and that's the one hero that Soul can't bring back.
going to buy you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, down to 30 seconds now for Seoul Dynasty. A lot of ultimates, but this next push is going to be about it for them.
Will be. So Toby, see if he gets sniped again by Custa at range with the damage boost onto the Zenyatta.
All right, that's a pretty far dive from Miro. Way too far up again. Easy for Dallas to capitalize on that one. Jaehong down as well. This is pretty much a disaster for Seoul as they try to push forward here. I don't think they've got any chance of finishing this one.
Toby killed in his Valkyrie, so Dallas stands strong on the defense.
Yep.
Brings it back and gets the support kills.
Yeah, point C is theirs, man. Nobody can get to that payload right now, I don't think. Well,
Zuba's on the payload.
I don't know how he got there, man. He had to go in there and use that self-destruct right away. The rest of Seoul coming back again. Transcendence for both teams. If Seoul manages to win this one, it's going to be insane. Or into OT. Deadeye could be big here. Simba demeched again. He's not going to last very long. Toby back on that Lucio this time.
This should be it. Rascal staying alive for the time being. Custa
Jaehong gets him.
Will be resurrected.
XQC down. The payload edging forward. Miro doesn't survive though. Munchkin needs to come up big. He's nearly got that pulse bomb. Can he get a big one? If he can, maybe they can push this.
In fact, this is watering Seoul right now.
Yeah, well, even with the kills coming in, Zunba once again finds himself alone on the payload. Delays for as long as he possibly can, but that should be about it. Yeah, OT ticking away, and that's where it's going to stop for Seoul Dynasty. They got it farther than I kind of expected after how point B went, but Dallas feel all they need to do is get the payload mostly there to win this map and take us to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and we heard the comms from the Dallas Fuel right at the end of the last map actually, trying to say, let's bring it back, reverse sweep. They are still in the running.
Absolutely they are.
It's still a very winnable situation for them.
I mean, point C on Route 66 is notoriously hard to take, even with a lot of time in the time bank going into that point. And you kind of get the payload as far as you can, but I think Seoul's got to be sweating a little bit here.
I would be too. They're going to look for a strong point, a hold on the defense. Fleta back on to the Sombra, as we expect to see. XQC experimenting with bold new hairstyles, I see.
I was going to say. Every time we see him, his hair has changed completely. It's like a magician.
He's got to keep it out of his face using his headset to do that.
That's right.
And
whip crack.
Rawhide.
Rawhide. There we go. Sound guy's not today. Gas. Oh. Big Earls haven't been in business for a long time, but it's okay. The sign remains. You don't have to gas up the payload, though. Everything's electric now, I think.
Yeah, what do you use the gas for? Are we saying in the future we're still using fossil fuels? How disappointing.
Obviously not. Obviously not, because that gas station's been long closed.
That's not every gas station in the world. You don't know why that gas station closed. Maybe there wasn't a lot of business thanks to the Deadlock gang and also the train destruction that's happening in front of it. Seems like a dangerous place to be, Della.
That is true. Big Earl was just a victim of circumstance, you know? Yeah. He had that health pack, but it wasn't. So for the gas, stay for our health packs.
This is bold. Most of the members of Seoul Dynasty onto the high ground.
Interesting.
Rascal on the Reaper.
Yeah, we've seen this from him before, and when you run this Reaper lately, you've been running the Moira because she can kind of follow behind and keep him and the rest of the tanks up and firing.
Yeah, why you want the Reaper is to take control of health packs. So you basically just stand there and ask them to walk into your shotguns.
Yeah.
He's gonna come around the side right now, try and take out Miro. Miro will leap to safety, but not safe enough.
Not really, no. Already, Mickey has one off of a little bit of damage from that Rascal on the Reaper.
And we've seen this strategy so many times against Sombra in the past.
Yeah.
Park yourself on top of the health packs, eliminate the possibility of getting a quick EMP. Didn't work out that way this time with Fleta, but they do get the initial pickup. Fleta's still there, he's waiting on top of Big Earls. What's that? That's a big, big EMP.
Yeah, that's right, but they gotta capitalize on it now, and so far, Seoul having to worry about their backlines. I don't know, yeah, Dallas gonna win that one.
It's 3-on-3 right now on the payload. Can in fact get this done? Toby trying to dash back and forth, will turn around, finds Miro's head as he drops out of the bubble.
Yeah, Toby, it's hard to hide on Lucio when you're constantly playing music that everybody can hear. Yeah, Custa tracks him down. That's going to be a quick point A for the Dallas Fuel.
We will bring it all the way back. Fast point A is what they needed. Fleta Staying on the Sombra for now, but XQC is already camping the health pack, the mega health pack right here. This is why he's here, is he doesn't want Sombra to be able to hack it. So since he didn't see the swap, knows that's Fleda's plan, and so Fleda has to go for the mini health pack way in the back instead.
Right. All right. Time for some Transcendence. XQC again, trying to control this health pack. He's going to go ahead and use the Primal Rage in that room. And Jehong goes down. The payload stopped for the moment. Trying to hunt down Zunba now. At least push him back a bit.
Toby gonna use the sound barrier. They're really committing hard to this one. Dallas Fuel will answer with Harry hooks.
Yeah, they're gonna try. Whoa, that's a primal. Whoa, okay, they got the shield down just in time. XQC with a move to block that self-destruct.
That's a 5-man EMP.
Yeah, but Fleda dies immediately. Custa gets him. Soul Dynasty jumps onto the Dallas Fuel, but Dallas fighting back here. Soul with a couple kills, but they lose Toby. That payload is going to move a bit. So Dallas Fuel, 2 times in a row now, able to fight through the EMP.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to the way that XQC played the health pack. It looks like a silly little thing, but when you try and prevent that, you really slow down the amount of healing the enemy team has. You slow down their ability to play aggressively because all of a sudden they can't try and play onto that payload. You have to play very far back if they want to get those heals, and that complicates the positioning massively for the team running the Sombra. So excellent read by Dallas, knowing that the Sombra was going to stay picked by Fleda.
Rascal's been holding on to this Death Blossom, the Reaper ultimate, for a long time here. Waiting for the perfect chance to use it. Effect down though. Munchkin maybe getting a few too many kills for Reaper to come in. Who knows?
I think you definitely swap off the Reaper now. It doesn't really matter if you have that Death Blossom. It's going to pick up 1 with it.
All right, that's something. I mean, in anticipation of point C, yeah, you're probably going to swap. Miro down again. Certainly Reaper does well against that Winston. And Munchkin, you know, trying to get in the back lines, but much less success here than he had on attack.
Sound barrier used just on 2 is Jehong and Toby
I don't know.
receiving that sound barrier. And Zunba was using that self-destruct. In fact, trying to Deadeye, but gets pushed down by Zunba.
Oh, no, Custa couldn't keep him up. That Coalescence came in a little bit too late. Yeah, Transcendence for Jehong is Soul trying to finally get Dallas moved off. If they can hold here, that would be big for Soul.
Custa getting chases off, have to use the fade to get back to the mini health back. Miro, Primal raging on the point. Fleda killed during his tactical visor.
Yeah, that's right, Custa just sucking the life right out of him with Moira. That's a stick on XQC again. Munchkin with another big pulse bomb. And Soul Dynasty, it looks like they may have held the payload just shy of point B. And this is going to get a bit tricky for Dallas to finish off.
Is there a team in Overwatch League, Doa, that knows their limits on some of these defenses? How many times have we seen them on assault maps or right at the end of the point, knowing just how much they need to push it forward? They had 3 people alive and they used that sound barrier. Any other team, it looks like folly, but Soul Dynasty managed to time in perfectly to get the remaining members of their team back and somehow hold.
Speaking of sound barrier, another one comes in for Souls. They take the attack to Dynasty, or to Dallas this time around. Getting a bit aggressive here. Gotta be careful though. Meanwhile, Effect a little bit on his own. Loses some health before backing out. Meanwhile, looks like Coalescence for Custa. But Dallas Fuel, now maybe with the kill into Jehong, they can make some progress here with a pulse bomb. That's a stick on XQC one more time. Munchkin been taken out the Winston over and over here. Let it down though, so Dallas striking back with a lot of their own kills, and looks like that's gonna finally be point B. Soul Dynasty, they tried to take the fight to Dallas, but it may have been a bit too far.
I'm starting to wonder if XQC is magnetic with how many pulse bombs.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's getting stuck to him. Munchkin targeting him repeatedly over the course of this map. And now, Rascal, the only ultimate available for the Dallas Fuel, Tactical Visor. Fleda nearly with Attack Visor of his own. So he's gonna look for an angle, start this off. Can he find the opportune moment? Zunba knows he's got it. He's going to chase him off the high ground.
And that's the thing. You got to demech Zunba if you're going to use this tac visor. Getting close now. Sound barrier, but here comes Jehong with the Transcendence. Keeping Zunba nice and healthy. Dallas falling back. Effect with the kill on the Fleda. Zunba manages to get him with the self-destruct, though. Dallas undeterred. They're going to be right back on the payload again. Ooh, they desperately tried to kill Toby and Harry Hook, the one to finish him off. This is looking pretty good for Dallas at the moment. If they can finish Miro, they can get some distance on that payload.
Yeah, Coalescence creating space. Miro retreating during his primal rage. So use that ultimate, gonna move the card just a little bit further. Custa has to back out though, he's getting hounded by Munchkin.
Yeah, he's stuck and no fade to help him out there. Meanwhile, XQC dives in. He's gonna try to keep people off of that payload. Rascal trying to live through that tag visor coming in from Fleta. I don't know. XQC has people kind of trapped in there, but Miro, the other Winston, the one coming up big with the kill. Soul Dynasty behind all this, winning this fight handily.
Oh, Toby dropped the beat at the end of the fight. You definitely didn't need to use the sound barrier there. A minute remaining, that was your sole support ultimate. And Jaehong might be able to get back up to that Transcendence. Looks like he will.
I mean, with Rascal having that tactical visor on 76 too, you desperately need any support ultimates you can have. Oh, it's a stick. A little bit of damage on the Miro. Looks like he's going to get healed back up again. Coalescence again from Custa. Soul back in the room. They get the Transcendence off. Jaehong built it up just in time. Rascal can wait this one out again. He's got attack visor ready to go. Munchkin gets a kill to Harry Hook. Can they get Rascal though? He's under pressure. He goes down. And Soul Dynasty have pushed Dallas back with less than 30 seconds remaining. Oh boy. Dallas on the verge of losing this one unless they can put together a miracle push, perhaps off the back of the Valkyrie that Harry Hook might have.
Oh, Custa, he's switching to Zenyatta. Mickey is switching to Roadhog. Here's what they're doing. They're trying to create picks. They know they have no ults. Flashbang comes in, Orb of Discord, and the Hook. This is the way they win with a pretty big ult deficit. Let's see if they can do it. Bold strategy.
Yeah, and Munchkin looking to get bold with this. Oh, he didn't get the... Oh, he Custa back right into it. Now Harry Hook pops a Valkyrie. Zach with the double kill on that pulse bomb. Overtime ticking away, though. Dallas needs to get there. Harry Hook zoned down a little bit. It's desperation. He goes in for the res on Custa. He gets it. Soul push back. Dallas forging forward. They might have this one. The respawn's coming in fast for Soul, but they are in the panic mode now. Dallas trying to tie up this series. Mickey on that Roadhog. So hard to grind down. And now Fleta coming in with the tactical visor. Can he push people back? Mickey a little bit low. They got him. Munchkin comes in for the kill on that one. We're still on OT. If Dallas gets off the payload, they are down. And another Transcendence from Jaehong. This might be the moment. Harry Hook nearly taken out, but now goes effect with a big one. Custa, they were without their Zenyatta, but Mickey has the whole hog.
It's getting closer. The cart is inching there. Toby is on Bastion.
Oh, I don't know, man. The respawns from Soul are so strong. Overtime ticks, and Soul Dynasty will barely pull it out. They will win this series, but man, only by a hair's width are they able to take victory today.
And those swaps at the last second, you have to admire Dallas Fuel's state of mind, going in to try and create picks, giving themselves all the tools that they could for the pick composition. Go ahead for the flashbang, go ahead for the hook. Try and make it work when you know you're behind an ult economy. It nearly does. Toby with the Bastion at the end.
Yeah. Wow.
Wild finish.
Well, Dallas Fuel certainly made that one a match to remember. That was extremely close through a lot of that. But Soul Dynasty, you talk about what these guys are best at. They do the dive, sure, but the adaptability, and that's really what kind of came through in the end for them, and they will remain undefeated here in stage 2 with a score of 3-1 to win this match.
Yeah, Dallas Fuel still going to be looking strong at this stage. This was a match of two teams that have been greatly improved by player additions and by the shift in the meta thanks to the patch.
Lots to look forward to in stage 2 for these guys. Another match coming up when we come back. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Overwatch League in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe, and I'm now joined by Toby from the Seoul Dynasty. Please give it up for this young man joining me for a few quick words about the game we just watched. Now, you guys are still undefeated in stage 2. However, that match looked close against the Dallas Fuel. What would you say gave you the edge in the end?
저희 이제 달라스 퓨어랑 굉장히 좀 접전의 경기를 펼쳤는데 저희가 이길 수 있었던 이유는 이제 끝까지 모두가 포기 안 하고 집중을 해서 경기가 좀 잘 풀렸던 것 같아요. 거기서 저희가 승리할 수 있지 않았나 합니다.
We were so close with Dallas Fury, and the reason that we could win was we didn't give up and we focused until the end. That's why we could win this game.
All right, now looking ahead at your next game this week, it's going to be against the LA Gladiators. What is your approach to this team now that they picked up Fisher?
이제 다음 경기가 글래디에이터인데 거기 이제 피셔 선수가 저희 뒷라인을 굉장히 잘 물러오는 게 영상을 많이 봤거든요. 그래서 저희는 이제 재홍 형이랑 저랑 병선이랑 이렇게 좀 더 단단하게 잘 뭉치고 생존을 잘할 수 있도록 그거에 중점을 맞춰서 연습을 하고 있어요.
Fisher, we've been watching how Fisher plays before, and he usually go into the back, like players in the back, and he would attack supporters. So we would focus on surviving on that attack, and we'll work on collaboration. Fleta, Jaehoong, and I will work on that.
All right, well, let's see how that goes later this week. Thank you so much for joining me once more. Congratulations. And we're now heading over to the desk with Pocket and the boys to break down the action.
Thank you so much. Give it up for Toby one more time. Seoul Dynasty walks away with the 3-1 victory. And once again, this Seoul-Dallas matchup, very fun for us to watch here at the desk. I'm Puckett. I got the boys. It's Bren. It's Crumbs back once again. And we got to talk about game number 3, because coming into the half, it was a 2-0 lead for Seoul Dynasty. A big roster move was made here. Munchkin, which they had success with, swapped out for Wiki to pull out a Junkrat instead.
Yes, and I mean, I can understand the thought process behind Seoul Dynasty making this switch up here. So you're putting in Wiki, who's the strongest sort of Junkrat player on this roster. He can still play a good Tracer, so you're not sacrificing too much in terms of flexibility. But Dallas Fuel were really just incredibly prepped for it. AKM on the far was making it a nightmare for Wiki to really get much done on the Junkrat, forcing him to switch off it onto other roles. You can see he was on the Genji here later on in the map. But the one major change that Dallas did from the first 2 maps to this map here was a change in play style. XQC is, like I said, I wanted him to start playing a little bit less passive, and now he started to really just let loose that sort of aggressive Winston style that he's known for.
Is that a solo decision, or is this the whole Dallas Fuel squad saying, we're playing too passive, we need to get in their face?
I hope it was a team decision. I hope it wasn't just XQC making that decision. I mean, that would be pretty bad for them, but I can only assume that it was a whole sort of halftime decision. Look, this is what we're having issues with.
They did have really good decisions that I think is what I want to see more out of the Dallas Fuel. The defense on Hollywood, that definitely was coordinated. That to me was a huge clutch play that we only see from the top echelon of teams. This is something that you'd expect London Spitfire, New York Excel to make, but now it's the Dallas Fuel. It's so clutch to have the Trans and the Far right on top of him, being able to defend this push, because remember, this is a huge snowball coming out of the Seoul Dynasty on this push. The fact that they gather their composure and stop the point right here, I think is the moment where we look at, yes, this Dallas team has something going on for them. They just showed it.
Dallas was looking pretty strong in game 3, and at that point, I was almost feeling cocky enough to go to Twitter and saying, I told you we're going to see a game 5. I'm glad I didn't, because Seoul holds strong, but early on, things were looking pretty good for both teams. Let's start here looking at this game number 4 with a unique play that we saw coming out of one of their star support players on Seoul.
So I've got a nice little replay. It's super simple. It's super easy. I just want to break it down because some people at home may have missed it, but we've got a telestration here that we can dive into that will really show you absolutely everything that's going on. And the only 2 people I want you to look at and concentrate on is going to be Fleta and Ryu Jae-hong, these 2 gents right here. You'll notice at the top, they've both got their ultimate abilities as well. So Ryu Jae's got 1, Fleta has the Deadeye as well for the second one. Now, a neat little trick that you can do when you're playing Zenyatta is when you use your ultimate ability, like Ryu Jae-hong does here, you can see he's actually invulnerable for a short time. Fleta uses his Deadeye just right here, and this is critical. And now Dallas immediately, they're going to try and jump onto Fleta and try and bring him down before he can get off the Deadeye. But Ryu Jae makes an intelligent decision here. Really just gets right up there, starts hugging him, because all of the bullets are going to be laid straight into Ryu Jae-hong, not going to be hitting Fleta at all, making him a little bit more invulnerable from this burst damage that they're trying to plow into Fleta here. So it's a nice little technique, nicely sort of just intricate plays that might go over some people's heads because it happens so quickly, but it just shows how Seoul Dynasty are so good at sort of playing this sort of in-depth, this sort of micro plays that are kicking off throughout these team fights.
That's right, Zen players. It's not all about that Discord orb and damage all the time. You can help your teammates out as well. Great example broken down by Bren. This game was back and forth when we look at it, Crumbs, and we were really impressed by the point A decisions. You saw Rascal pulling out a Sombra. Same thing for Fleta. A Reaper was in use at times. So let's talk a little bit about the compositions that were played throughout this game on Hollywood. What were the looks the teams were showing us?
Well, here in Route 66, I think what was really cool to see is how quickly the Sombra would charge and then what adaptations would come through. So this is the map where every phase, the terrain is so massively different that you want to be constantly swapping out your heroes. We've seen the Seoul Dynasty try to go for a Mei at the last point. But what I think the Dallas Fuel really did to me that was impressive was the final push where they had, where they were able to swap into the Roadhog. That to me was just such a clutch moment, because Monty was mentioning on the cast how when you have a Roadhog, that's your X factor. A hook is a pick, you win the fight, so it doesn't matter if you have an ultimate disadvantage. A Roadhog hook can equalize things, and so I thought it was a cool swap.
Yeah, we just saw at the very end of that clip. We almost have the full minute of this final fight that you could see, because Dallas was so close to getting us to that Game 5. It came down to just the last 10 meters here, Bren. When we were watching this final fight, let's talk a little bit about this setting here. Seoul, they failed to match that third point. They couldn't get all the way to the distance. Dallas has a great opportunity here. With Seoul, very few ultimates to use.
Yes.
You think Dallas should be able to roll this?
Yeah, and I honestly thought they were about to do it. This was an absolutely mental final push coming into here. And as you said, Crumbs, Monty mentioned in the cast that Dallas realized they had to switch to these pick heroes. Mickey, Custom moving over to the Zenyatta as well. They need this high damage, high burst damage, because they had no ultimates to work with. And this push, as it was going into the overtime, the only thing that really stopped them in their tracks was Seoul's excellent stalling capabilities. And this is something that they've built up, that's been ingrained in them throughout their entire time playing Overwatch, back in Korea as well. This is very much the sort of, they're very much used to stalling these out.
Look at Jae-hong here. He actually snipes out Harry. I think that's what actually made the difference. He literally snuck around and then takes out the support. And if it wasn't for that clutchness of transcending, using the trans to reposition into a sneaky position, and then bam, you take out the Mercy right away, I think we might have had a Game 5.
Jae-hong making some big plays today. Who would remove your hate that you laid upon this man unfairly in stage 1?
I did call him the problem at some point. And I gotta say, the man has stepped up tremendously. And to be fair,
he didn't step up. It was you that gave the wrong judgment.
To be fair, to be fair, I changed my opinion at the time during stage 1. We came to a sort of agreement, but no, I agree. I think this meta game is certainly sort of to favor Ryu Jae-hong. Now we get to see the guy play Diana, get to see him play the Zenyatta, making these crazy flank plays, making these moments where he just clutches it for his team. It's lovely.
All right, that's very nice, Brent. How you just backed out of
Brent.
that.
Happy Brent. I've been told, you know, I don't know about it. Did you see the watch point?
Yeah.
They apparently Angry Brent is a big no-go. They want the Smiley Brent, you know?
Smiley Brent's the best Brent today, but the player of the match is not Brent. It's a guy that was on the main stage. And it's not Ryu Jae-hong, it's not Munchkin, who had a great Game 4. It's the man that was in all 4. Zumba on the Diva is going to take our honors today, sponsored by Omen by HP. Crumbs, what impressed you most about this off-tank?
It impressed me how he was just constantly assisting his diving partner, being able to pinpoint tanks. We talked about it the whole time. It's all about the tanks. They create the space. They are the biggest beefy frontliners, so the DPS can hide safely behind them. But when you're playing the Diva, you also get to do a lot of damage, and a lot of that damage was pummeled into the Roadhogs, the Monkeys, and the other Divas of the other team.
And you'll notice those deaths, or final blows rather, on supports. Ridiculous number here. That's about a third of his final blows. Zumba had a job, and that was to take Harry Hook and Custa out of the game today. Solid stuff from Seoul all around. They are going to take our first series 3-1. But that's just the first of 3. If you've been watching the Overwatch League, we bring you 3 matches every single day. When we come back, we got our hometown squad of the Valiant as they take on the San Francisco Shock. Don't go anywhere.